Greetings, peace and blessings. Happy Friday. How are y'all doing today? Well, we have made it to Friday, and Friday is the day that is governed by Venus, and Venus just went into Sagittarius yesterday. So grateful for Venus and Sag, and so Venus has made it to Sag. Now we just have Mars that needs to make it to Sag, and the Sun that needs to make it to Sag, but they all have to go through Scorpio first. Um, Good morning. Good morning. So let me say that since Mercury's been in retrograde, every day I get on here and I just come because I really don't have anything to say. Like my brain is really mush right now. Like I have been the double Mercury energy, that Gemini moon and that Virgo sun, it just drags me. And so I really don't have clear thoughts. I really am just mostly like lethargic and like, and so I'm here every day just because I come here. And so I hope that what I've been sharing is supportive, because I just feel like I'm ranting. I just feel like I'm in a constant state of ranting, and I'm just sort of like excited for it to be over when it is. Hey Zakia, how are you? So Venus, today is a Venus day. Venus is the day that I ask for donations or thank yous or whatever. And so if you feel compelled to that today, I appreciate it. You can share how the work helps you. You can give me a Cash App donation or a Venmo donation. Some people give $5, some people give $1, sometimes people give $100, whatever. It's all about reciprocity. Venus is the day that governs reciprocity. And my intention is to be a benefit. My intention is to create value in the work that I do, whether I'm with you guys personally or on this apparatus. I I really am here to create benefit, and the thing that I'm really clear about is that the old system is dying. It really is going away. And one of the things that I have my panties all up in a bunch about right now is the fact on November 4th, they are going to have mandates across Los Angeles. And I'm just really praying for this whole everything to collapse. Like I'm just holding a vision in my mind for all of these old ways of being and all of these external authority, because we just have Pluto go direct. And for those of you who were in my Pluto class, you've been doing the work for the last 6 months to bring your power back to yourself. And in this world right now, one of the ways that we can take our power back is just become responsible for your health. Some of the things that I do on a daily basis for my health: I take black seed oil every day. I take moringa daily, generally. I take iodine every day. I also take selenium every day. I do no longer eat meat products because the meat is processed in a very brutal way in this country, and it carries a lot of heavy karma, not to mention all the antibiotics and all the things that they put in meat. So I do not eat those things. But it's not easy to live this way. I want to say that. Like it's an effort for me to do it. And so it's really important that we really learn how to get our authority over our own selves, over our bodies, over our families, over our children. And really what's going on is there's so much fear being propagated right now, that the fear is really making people vulnerable, and they're not really allowing themselves to be a part of the evolutionary experience that's happening on the planet right now. And you know, like we're so afraid of death. And you know, I've been watching people die all my life, so I'm not afraid of death. It's not fun to have people you love go away. I do understand that. But they just go away and come back as somebody else. They just reincarnate and come back as somebody else. Usually in your family. They usually die and come back as somebody else in your family. So, literally my family is absolute. Whenever somebody dies, somebody is immediately pregnant. That's just how it is in my family all of the time. So I literally have people in my family that I'm just looking at like, you used to be such and such, but now you're this person. And I don't say anything about it because it's crazy to understand it, but that's really what happens. That's what's going on here. So it's important for us to really, if we get informed and we study and we learn and we go outside of the Western mindset of Christianity that didn't teach us about reincarnation, that taught us bullshit about, the life and death cycles that would have us be afraid. And so I'm just checking to see my cats. They tend to try to do things that are naughty when I'm not paying attention. Like go in the kitchen and look for stuff. And so if we change our understanding and we do our deep internal work, we can align with a new mindset that helps us have peace now, that helps us realize that we're moving through something that's evolutionary. And, people who are quote unquote, dying of COVID or whatever, do you understand that you don't die before your time? Like, death is not a mistake. Your soul chooses a time to come and it chooses a time to leave. It's not a mistake when you go. And so we don't have to fear it. And, there are things that I do fear. Like, I don't like pain. Pain is just like, ugh, like I can't stand pain. So, I understand those kinds of things, but we have to have deeper conversations about these understandings of our humanity so that we can be more rational about it. So that we're not at odds with nature's laws. Like if you're at fucking odds with nature's laws, you're lost. Like there's no, you being at odds with the laws of nature is just being at odds with everything, because nature always wins every time. You're not going to beat nature. You said people are not trying to hear this. Okay. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like we're all at choice. So the work that I do is to help people, to help us relax, to help us find power in ways that we really do have power, because really nature is flowing through us. And when we understand our astrology and learn how the energy works through us, then we can have power. We don't have to be at the effect of everything. Of course, we're going to be at the effect of a lot of stuff because, the human experience is fragile and vulnerable. But we don't have to be at the effect of everything. So, okay, today is a Venus day. Thank you all for donations. Thank you. My Cash App is $ Monique Ruffin, and my Venmo is @Monique-Ruffin. And so, like I said, thank you for anything. Thank you for whatever you give or offer. It's beautiful. I appreciate it. So Venus in Sagittarius. Venus is our emotions. It's our feelings. It's how we love. It's how we relate to others. It's how we relate to money. It's how we relate. Venus is it governs our emotions, our feelings. I am feeling better. But I will say that I really did dissolve in Egypt. When I was there, the third day in, we were there for 12 days. The third day in, I was like, wow, this is really intense. Like, the environment was intense. The most intense thing about Egypt was that women were invisible in Egypt. Women were absolutely invisible. And this is what I mean. And it could have been because of COVID. I'm not really sure. But when we were in restaurants, the waiters were men. When we were in hotels, the people who cleaned the hotels were men. Like, there were not women working in ways that I just see women working all the time in the States here, right? And so because there was an absence of women, there was an absence of feminine energy. So there wasn't as much grace. There wasn't as much softness. It was just a really rigid place because there were no women. And that made it really challenging for me personally. Just being in spaces where the feminine touch just wasn't available. The feminine perspective just wasn't available. And everywhere we went, they were charging you for everything. If you needed toilet paper, there was no toilet paper in the bathrooms, and they were like, where's the money for it? Like the masculine was begging and greedy and asking. And it was just, and because I'm a woman, it felt overwhelming. It felt like get away from me. You know what I mean? They were really intense. And so in my later time there, I started to see more women out. But it was really it's a very male dominated culture, and you can feel the absence of women. So that really did something in my psyche, because the only thing that the ancients, who were not Egyptians, they were Kemetic. The ancients who built the pyramids were black people. Because like I said, we recycle over and over and over again. We die and come back, and we die and come back. So the black people who built the pyramids in Egypt are the black people who built America. It's so simple. Anyway, but if you start doing your own research, you can understand that yourself. Thank you so much for saying my blouses. This is actually a dress. And it has pockets. How about that? Anyway, so Venus and Sagittarius. Venus, like I said, is our emotions. Oh yes, you definitely have to bring your toilet paper with you. You have to bring everything with you, because if you don't, there was one point I had gone to the bathroom and I had to really use it, and I didn't have any toilet paper, and I was like, oh damn, like this is a problem. And then it turned out that somebody next to me was in my group and had toilet paper for me. But had I not had any toilet paper, I would have had a mess to be with, because I didn't pay him for the toilet paper before I walked into the bathroom. So Sagittarius is about our faith. Sagittarius is about expansion. Sagittarius is about global identity, our global travel. And Sagittarius is about freedom, right? Sagittarius is really about, it's a different kind of freedom than Aquarius, but Aquarius is really freedom. But Sagittarius is adventure, is what it is. And Venus in Sagittarius is really this adventure of the heart, to explore, to learn philosophy, information, right? Like really allowing yourself to study and see things from a different perspective. Like it's really asking to have a broader perspective. And then Venus in Sagittarius is also like, what are you up to? What's your vision for your own life? What are you doing? And it needs to feel like something that's true to you. Yeah, Egypt is interesting. Yes, Aquarius is freedom. I know. But Jupiter is expansion, and Jupiter is like freedom from old things, freedom from old mindsets, old ways of being. So it's a different kind of freedom, but it's still a freedom nonetheless. Like philosophies and things like that. So what we want to be doing today is really giving yourself permission. Like I said, Mercury in retrograde is turning my brain into noodles. But Sagittarius is freedom. I'm sorry. Sagittarius is the vision. It's really what you are up to. And what are you up to on a daily basis to expand yourself, to learn, to, to open up into new ideas and new ways of being? And there's I've not traveled a lot abroad, honestly, like I haven't. It's not even something that I have a real craving for, honestly. Because it takes me so much out of my comfort zone. If I could do it in luxury, I would love that, because then there's just a different kind of energy behind it. And that doesn't mean that I don't want to experience the stuff that I experienced in Egypt. I totally want to experience all of that. And the trip was actually pretty luxurious, honestly. I guess it just is a lot to see what goes on with women around the world. It's just painful to see how we have allowed ourselves to be subjugated, how we have allowed ourselves to be put in the position of children. And because that was what I was saying, Egypt, the Kemetic Egypt is all about feminine power. That's all it's about. Literally, the ancient Egyptians everything was one thing. The feminine is in service to the masculine was in service to the feminine. Science, religion, education, all one thing. They didn't compartmentalize, which is what the masculine has a tendency to do. In ancient Kemet, everything was based in nature and the cosmology and the feminine power and the masculine power. And now to be there and see that the feminine is so oppressed was like, wow. And that all the stories are told in lies. Like nothing they say is actually true. They have to go to school and get educated to tell the stories. And the stories that they tell are completely false. A little bit of truth here and there, but they don't say that the people that they're talking about are black people or African people. They talk about them like they're Arab people. It's just a trip. It's beautiful to see it, to touch it, but the foundation from which that the people that are the gatekeepers now, it's not in alignment. Mercury retrograde is turning my life into news. Yes, it really is. Mercury retrograde is doing a job. And so this is why I'm so happy that Venus has gone into Sagittarius, because Venus rules this Mercury retrograde. So now the retrograde should lighten up just a little bit, because Venus is out of Scorpio. And Venus in Scorpio was all about the deeper meanings and power and how we were misusing power. But Venus in Sagittarius is like the vision, and, it's about wisdom and information. And it's, the Tahuti or Thoth, right? It's really about gathering wisdom, gathering information, really allowing yourself to come into a new mindset. And that's what we want to embody while Venus is in Sagittarius, really coming into, and because, Venus, the ninth house, I have Sagittarius in the ninth house, and the ninth house is the energy of your faith, right? So this is fantastic, because we want to begin to really empower our faith. And that's why I was saying this is a season of blessings and prayers being answered and manifestation of our dreams and desires, and all of that is what's happening now. So we really want to use this Venus in Scorpio to in the fulfillment of your faith, right? So whatever it is you've been working on and putting your energy and attention in and having faith for the fulfillment, this is the season. And so you want to really begin to look for the evidence of the work that you've been doing. You want to look for the evidence and the reward of where you have been putting your energy, time, and attention for months, and maybe for some of us for years, right? Because we're born for this particular time when we're living through the downfall of the old system and the birth of the new system. So there are those of us who can feel it, who've always known it, who've been in preparation for it. And so now is your time. Those of us who are light workers, we're going to be working to help other people wake up, helping other people get free. All of these sort of things are what's going on now. Have done Mercury retrograde, but would love to get to know more about my sign and how it relates to the different astrology. Always find I have creative ideas and faith. Yeah. So interesting to see what that would be. If you want to send you something by mail, what's your address do we use? Okay, I'm going to send you my mailing address privately. Interesting. This morning, I feel a slight shift upon waking. It really resonates. Yeah, because Venus moved into Sagittarius, the sun sign, out of the dark Scorpio, which is like, whoo, Lord have mercy. Thank you. The moon is still in Scorpio, though. And the moon in Scorpio is really, here's the thing about the moon in Scorpio. Pluto just went direct. The moon is in Scorpio. So personal authority, your fucking personal power, right? One of the things that it's so important to understand is that power is a real thing. Power is a real thing. The ability to see something in your mind and manifest it, the ability to understand the electromagnetic field. And, so really as we begin to let go of the old ways of being, the old system where we gave our power away to elected officials, or we gave our power away to teachers, or we gave our power away to our parents, and you start to have your own authority. Literally, your authority comes through your relationship with your higher self, through your God self. And this is why you can never make anybody God in your life, because you really do give them your power. You really fucking do. That's why I say don't ever vote again, because you don't want to vote your power into somebody else's hands who don't deserve it. Do you understand that when we vote, that they actually have a budget for billions of dollars for war, and they go out and do criminal acts all around the world in the name of the people who voted for them? Do you understand that? Like, that is horrible. That's why what's going on in Afghanistan now and all around the world, we vote for this stuff. We give them energy, power. It's a real thing. You think it's nothing because you just go in a booth and you're like, boop, and then you never fucking think about it again, right? But then they take that and use it to do destruction all around the world. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that's just really, it's profound. That's why I say don't vote. Vote locally, participate in your local elections and things like that for your kids in school and, the libraries and the local politicians. Absolutely. And do that strategically so that so those people can really be held accountable. And in the next generations, we can start getting rid of the politicians that we have in place. But our political system is so corrupt because it's all about money now. So they're just there to get their pockets fat. That's it. So it's really important to understand when you do that, when you vote and do that, you create karma for yourself. That's why I say don't do it, because you're creating karma. And then your soul has to come back in and regulate the karma that you created by giving somebody your power to go do harm to innocent people around the world. I mean, it's really dark, but we're responsible for what we do. And, it's going to take time to undo it because we live in a system that's very fucking corrupt. So it will take time. We're not going to be able to restructure this overnight in the physical realm. But in the internal realm, you can take your power back now. You can do that now. So that's the energy around Scorpio. Really learning how you have been giving your power away to experience situations, people, and things where you are unconscious of how your power is being used. And then you want to begin to get that back and begin to use it in a way that actually supports growth, evolution, healing, transformation, so that you are not creating negative karma for yourself and others. I know I said a lot. All right. All right. I love y'all. Peace and blessings. Have a great day. Bye bye.